this morning. And I haven't started yet. I'm not going to be able to answer questions because I can't see what's going on. But you guys are welcome to watch me work. Okay, so I'm going to start with the outline. You're going to feel it, but it's not going to be anything crazy. Okay. No worse than tweezing, that's for sure. Okay. And then I'll get the numbing solution on you and you'll feel great. So I'm just going to tilt you this way. I'm going to start on the tail. How's that, okay? Yeah. So I'm using my Flux S, you guys, and I'm using a Kwadron needle. It's a 1RL. What am I using? Yeah, 0.35 today. So it's a slightly thicker needle than the 0.25 that I typically use, but I'm actually really liking it. I've been playing with them a lot lately. And it's a long taper. I'm using the color Espresso from Perma Blend. You want a nice rich chocolate brown, nothing too dark. We can always darken it, touch up. Hi, Christina. Good morning. I got a full day in the studio today. And this beauty walked in and I saw her brows and I was so excited. You know when a client walks in and you're like, yes, I can't wait to do these? And that's how I felt right away. So with this look, I want my bottom edge to be quite crisp and defined, and then I'm gonna soften the top of this powder brow. I got my needle hang pretty long. I don't know if you guys can see. Just working off the very, very tip of my needle. So I'm stretching when I work and then I let go to see how the skin's looking relaxed. Make sure my lines look nice and straight. So now I'm doing a little more of a soft whip on the border. Depth looks good. I know my depth on the bottom will be good. I just want to check the depth on the top. No numbing yet. We haven't used any anesthetic yet. We'll use our secondary in just a minute after I complete the first pass. Waiting for my Brow Daddy pigments to get here. Has anybody ordered them? really nice and soft, barely grazing the skin. So now I'm gonna go through and just very gently skim the skin. This is just gonna open up the skin a little bit so it'll take our secondary anesthetic. I'm very gentle. I do have ink on my needle, but I'm not trying to deposit a bunch of color right now. Just wanna get my client nice and comfortable. Is that still feeling okay?
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys checked out my new filter? I launched it this morning. It's a glossed filter. It gives you a glossy lip, just like my product. It's so fun. You can find it on my profile. I even did a highlights reel, so you guys can grab it there and use it. And post and tag me in it so I can see your beautiful faces using it. So I'm doing my first pass with a single needle, my outline with a single needle, and then I am most likely going to shift to a 3 round when I get into the shading of the interior of the brow. It's got beautiful skin, it's just a little bit thicker, so we want to get in and get out without causing trauma. I could do it with a single needle. It would just take me a little bit longer. If I was shading with my single needle, I would lower down my my depth, like my needle hang would be a little bit shorter than this for shading. I only work from one side. I see that question coming in. So I like to work on my client's left-hand side. I know when you guys are watching this, because it's mirrored, it actually looks like I'm left-handed. I'm not. I'm using my right hand, and I'm on the client's left-hand side. So she's lying on the bed and I'm on the left-hand side. I like to work this way. Not a lot of people do. I don't know why, but a lot of people will work from the other side of their client, and their machine will be coming from this side. I like to have my machine hand rested against their forehead, and then I stretch from underneath. It's always been the way that I've worked. It makes most sense to me. I can get much more stability when I'm pivoting off of the client's forehead. See, she's got great brows, but not much of a tail, so we're gonna be giving her a beautiful tail today. And now I'm gonna put my anesthetic on. Sorry if it stings just a little bit, babe. It's got a tiny bit of alcohol in it, so it might sting for just a second, and then it'll do its job. I know, it can make you feel like you have to sneeze. That's totally normal. If you do have to sneeze, just raise your hand and then I'll move the machine out of the way. Microblading's even worse. With microblading, clients sneeze all the time. It really tickles the sinuses a lot. I would do powder all day long if I could. Some clients still really want microblading, and if their skin is right for it, then I will do it. I still love microblading, but it's great for certain skin types and then not ideal for others, right? Like for oily skin clients, they're just not gonna, you can still do it, they're just not gonna get those crisp results that they're looking for. Whereas drier skin clients, they just hold the strokes a lot better. So it just really depends on the client. But if hair strokes is their goal, I can still give them hair strokes. I just do like machine hair strokes, and it implants the ink a little bit differently. So chin up just a tiny bit. So I have my clients raise their chin when I'm trying to get into this under part of the brow, based on how I'm working, because I want my machine to still stay at a 90-degree angle. And if they're not, then I tend to be on an angle this way, which I don't want to be. I want to be more upright like this. So I stretch and I pull up on the forehead so I can stay at 90. So just check my pressure there. I know that I am always heavier handed on this brow, so I work lighter on this side because naturally I just am heavier handed when I switch to this brow. I know that about myself. So I'm consciously working lighter, so I check my pressure to make sure that I'm not too light on this side. And you'll know if you're heavier handed on one side based on your client's healed results. If you see them coming back and one brow looks great and the other one looks lighter, then that's probably why. Sometimes, you know, you can say, oh, or do you sleep on that side? But realistically, it's probably in how you implanted that ink into their skin. And alternatively, sometimes one side will heal beautifully and the other side is too dark, right? So if that's the case, then that's a little harder to handle, but it happens. And that's what like time gives you. So when you really assess your healed work for a long time, you start to notice these things about yourself. And sometimes you might even notice, like even if you're microblading, your depth, you'll see one side, okay, your strokes are just a little too deep. That's a pressure thing. That's something you have to be, you know, conscious of. And I'm also really paying attention to how the vibration feels in these fingers here. Okay, so now I'm gonna do that light skim, that light first pass, just to open up the skin. So it's ready to take some anesthetic. I'll be using Ultra Duration, it's my go-to, I love it. She's a tiny bit weaker on this brow in the front. There's her brow grows a little bit more straight up on this side, a little bit tilted on this side, so we're gonna balance that out with some shading. I always pull 2 needles, guys, so on my tray I have my 3 round ready to go if I decide to shift to a 3, which I will. I don't always, but I will in this case. But I'll still probably do a little bit of my, I don't consider this a pass right now, so my first pass will be when I hit the left brow again. And I'll still probably go in with a single needle just to see how it does before I shift to a 3. And if it does really well, then I won't shift to a 3. If I think it could do better, then I'll shift to a 3. How excited are you to wake up with brows tomorrow?
I'm so excited. I can't even explain it. I'm so tired of doing my eyebrows everywhere. I used to be a perfectionist and it could take like 30 minutes to do it.
Oh yeah.
But since COVID now, I've just like, throw them on.
I know, I feel like everyone's just become a little bit more of like a natural kind of version of themselves during COVID.
Yes.
Like I've been wearing less makeup, just and like feeling more confident in the whole process, which is strange,
Me
you know?
too,
Like I'm just kind of like,
actually.
this is me.
I used to put like falsies on every day.
I still do that. I'm
stuff.
still hooked on the falsies, but they take me like 2 seconds, so I can't complain. But I'm also just embracing no lash days too. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, still kind of a cute look.
I thought that you were so fast. I didn't even know they were falsies. I thought they were just like normal lashes. Or like
like extensions.
Yeah.
No, I literally if I had to put on mascara, it would take me longer than having to stick on falsies. Because I've done it forever. So. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you guys this side so you can see what the outline looks like. So can you see, I know the live qualities is tough because you can't see all the details, but there is a really soft top to this border here. And then the bottom, you can see we've got more definition in there, which is exactly what I wanted. So we've got that crisp bottom edge and then just a barely bare shadow for me to go off of on the top. So now we are going to do a little bit of shading with the single needle to see.
Oh, it looks so good so far.
I know, it's kind of fun when the camera's here because then you can check it out and see what's going on. that better?
Yeah, oh my gosh. Stuff really works.
It's like liquid gold. So I'm whip shading and I'm pulling towards myself, you guys. And I'm just checking to see how it's depositing. It's looking nice. So I'll probably stick with the 1 for a little while, and then if I need to shift to a 3 for second pass, I can. Now I'm going a little bit of back and forth. So in the tails, in the very tip of the tail in the front is where I need a lot of control. So I will pull in just one direction. It's typically towards me. So when I'm stretching like this, I'm stretching the skin away and I'm pulling the skin towards me to get that 3-point stretch. I'm not really doing a whole lot with this pinky. It is pulling a little bit, but it's more, I'm using it more for stability. And then pulling down towards her ear on the skin, which is giving me a nice top stretch. Oh, and I'm also running my machine at, where am I at? I'm at a 7. I keep popping my head up in case there is a question. So right now with this, I'm focusing the shading on the top half, and then I'll go in and shade that bottom half. And I'm trying to keep my shading really nice and consistent on the top. That first pass is important. You want the first pass to be very nice and even. And I'm watching very closely for pinpoint bleeding. So I'm not trying to deposit a crap ton of color right now. I'm trying to get my first like soft base coat down. And then I'll deposit more color a little bit more aggressively on the second pass. So I'm not worried if you don't see like a crazy amount of color on that first pass, do not panic. Don't overwork the skin. I just want a dusting of color that I can build on, layer with. And that's what's gonna give you those beautiful healed results. And that's what we're here for, all about the healed results. So I see a question coming in about machine speed. So why am I working on a 7? So I just launched, I think a couple weeks ago, a free course all about machine speed and trying to understand your machine speed and how to work your machine speed to your personal advantage. So just because I'm working at a 7 right now, it really means nothing to you guys because your hand might whip completely different than mine and your client's skin could be very different than mine as well. So typically for me, my magic speed, which is what you'll discover when you take this online course, which is completely free, you're gonna find out, you know, what is the best speed that goes with your hand movement because it's in correlation to each other, right? So if you whip really slow versus really fast, your machine speed is going to be different. And then also based on your client's skin types. So after doing this free course and doing the exercise with me, you'll understand what machine speed you should basically start at. And then from there, you can move it up a little or down a little depending on your client's skin type. Okay, so now I'm gonna work on the base of this brow. I'm gonna get that hair out of the way. So you can hear my whip is just a little bit more aggressive on this bottom edge because I am trying to implant more color here. I want that slight fade up on the brows. I want the bottom edge to be more defined and the top edge to be softer. So I'm adjusting my technique. The angle, can you see what I'm doing? enough?
Just a little bit. Perfect.
Okay, so in the front here, I'm working fast. So my whip is fast, light pressure, and I'm just pulling towards myself. So I get that really soft dusting of color. And then I'm wiping and I'm checking. Just light, but it's coming along. It's looking good. Compared to this side, it doesn't have much, so a little bit more anesthetic here. See, not as big as you were thinking.
No.
Explaining to her, I'm like, the pre-draw is intimidating. I'm like, don't worry, she don't want them too big. I'm like, I promise they won't be big.
How do you know when you touch it?
You'll know. You'll just know. Basically, like if you're filling them in a lot, if it looks weak on one side, like I was saying, if one side looks darker than the other, if there's any patches that look uneven or that it didn't take, then you'll need a touch up. But I also am very honest with my clients and letting them know that permanent makeup, and everybody listen to this one, okay? Permanent makeup is low maintenance, it's not no maintenance. So what that means is it's never going to be as pigmented as brow pencil or brow powder. You're seeing ink through layers of the skin when it's healed, versus topical makeup that you're applying to the skin, like on top of the skin. So it's a different look. So I have my brows tattooed. I still use a little bit of makeup on them in the mornings, but it's much different than having nothing, right? Like it gives you a perfect base, and on natural days that you don't want to do much with them, they're gonna look bomb. And on days when you're doing a full face of glam makeup, yeah, you might want to still add a little bit of makeup to them to kind of make them stand out a little bit more, and that's okay. So
it won't be nearly as much makeup.
Exactly. It'll take like a 10-minute time down to 30 seconds at most. So
and usually you said it could take like up to 4 weeks, right?
yeah, 4 weeks for the color to stabilize in the skin. So healed results, don't judge them for 4 weeks. I just tell my clients you're not allowed to judge them at all for 4 weeks from today. The skin texture will heal pretty fast, usually about 7 to 10 days. It might be a little dry, a little bit of mild flaking, not usually too much with the powder brows. However, the skin should feel and look relatively normal in about 10 days. But the color won't completely stabilize until 4 weeks from today.
And then usually around or after that you can tell.
Then you can, then you're allowed to judge them, and then you can decide if you want them bolder, darker, thicker.
Yeah, because I had one friend who got them done, she didn't need touch-ups, and then my friend's mom got hers done and she needed touch-ups.
Yeah, there's so many different factors. I'm doing a little bit of back and forth. Just focusing on that bottom edge right now. There's no rhyme or reason to my wiping. I see a question coming in about my wiping, like why are you wiping in this direction on this brow? Like on this side, I started on the top and then I went to the bottom. Here, I'm starting on the bottom and then going to the top. I'm wiping in any way that works for me. I'm just gonna catch a little tear here. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm not too concerned with that. I don't really work in like a system. I'm in the tail, so now I'm working just towards me again, so I have lots of control. Working top to midsection again. Okay, here's your cartridge. I'm going to shift to a 3 round now. Okay guys, I'm going to make the move to a 3. And I'm going to focus that 3 towards the bottom of the brow, the base of the brow. Okay. hover along that bottom, and then as I move up, I kind of space out my pixels a little bit more, so I kind of speed up my hand from bottom to top. And the pigment's gonna feel warm while it's healing. That's very normal. So today when you look at your brows, you're gonna see like a reddish brown. It will not, mark my words, it will not stay that way at all. It's how these pigments are formulated. They're formulated with a lot of warmth to counteract the natural ashing that happens in the healing process.
Okay.
So we don't want them to be gray. So we use, you know, nice warm tones that are going to neutralize and stabilize the skin.
Yeah, it does look a little red.
Yeah, very normal. And even tonight, so by the time you go to bed, it won't look as red because the pigment will oxidize a little bit, but it's very common. I just like to prepare my clients for it because sometimes they'll be like, Shay, you picked a really warm brown.
Okay, it's good to know.
Yeah. And even while they're healing, it's still gonna feel a little warm. Like, let's say day 10, you go through the flaking process and it still looks like a warm brown. At the 4-week mark, that's when it will not.
Okay. In months to come, when they start to grow out and like I need them waxed,
Yes.
like, are you able to get them waxed or do you do them yourself?
No,
Okay.
you'll be able to maintain them yourself quite easily now because you'll see exactly what belongs and what
True.
doesn't belong.
That's true.
So upkeep on your own should be pretty simple, but yeah, you can definitely still get them waxed or threaded.
I don't really think I would. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't really need to get them waxed. I could do it myself. Mostly in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. My best friend's been thinking of doing it. She's like, FaceTime me as soon as you get in the car.
Yeah, there's always like one guinea pig from the friend group, and then they all start coming in. I wonder if she's watching right now. You're practically famous.
Hi guys.
She'll sign autographs later.
Do you go live often?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
try to when I have clients.
Anything? Yeah.
Yeah, I try to do it a couple times a week if I can. My audience, like everyone that's watching right now, it's not clients, right? Like it's all other artists because I teach, so they're all watching for tips and tricks and advice and trying to see, you know, how does somebody else do it. And
So there must be like a lot of people that do this.
there is, yeah, and it's like a worldwide community. So like people all across North America. We probably have viewers from Australia,
Oh, that's
UK,
really
everywhere,
cool.
yeah. And it's a great community. Everyone's very supportive and kind, and like we're all online best friends. It's pretty neat.
That's fun.
Yeah. And when COVID isn't around, we have like conferences that we go to, and we can like meet up with each other, and it's so nice.
Okay. Oh, they look so good.
Coming together nicely. I'm using a new lighting system, you guys. I got this light called the Cosmo Glow. It's so cool. It's like, you can't see it, but it's a dome. I'm gonna post stories about it later so you guys can check it out. I didn't wanna say anything until I used it on clients because I've used the Glamcore lights forever, but it's so good. Like, it's got dimmable. Ooh, it's nice and bright. But it's shaped like a dome, and it goes around your client's face like this, and you can, you know, raise the height of it. And it gives even light on each side, and it's so freaking cute. Like, it's very aesthetically pleasing. So check my stories out later because I'm gonna post about it so you guys can see it, because you're all gonna be obsessed. You're gonna be like, this is the coolest light ever. Or you can Google it, Cosmo Glow Light, if you're impatient and you wanna check it out right now. But they were expensive, and they came from the States, and they took a while to ship, but totally worth it. So I'm trying to balance the brow out. So I'm focusing on areas where she has gaps in her hair or where there is negative space basically, and I'm adding in just a little bit of color. That's why I went back in with my single needle along that baseline, because she's got more hair on the baseline of this brow, not as much on this side. So I'm trying to make them look equal in density, which is why I'm kind of working harder in certain areas. Like right in here, she's got a little bald spot in her hair in the center. So I want to make sure there's heavy shading there so that it looks like there's more hair there.
Oh wow.
Getting there.
Oh my gosh, I can't. It looks so good.
Now I'm doing a little bit of pointillism, you guys, just in certain areas. Sometimes I like to go in and just pixelate the edges just a little bit. Okay, I'm just gonna do a tiny bit more shading in the front of this one, and then I think we're just about done. I'll set you up and see if there's any more little spots that I need to go into. Okay guys, I'm gonna turn off the live and you're gonna have to come back for the reveal, and we'll have it on stories, or if I edit this and put it into my IGTV, then you'll be able to see it there. But here's a sneak peek.
Wow.
But we'll show you up close and personal soon. So check back on stories to see what they look like.
Bye guys.
Bye.